Well, hello people. So yeah, it's Peter here, and yeah, I'm back down in the old man shed. Yeah, it's great. It's a Friday afternoon. It's coming up to 3 o'clock. It's a nice, very nice 24-25 degrees. The sun is shining. It's not clear blue skies, but it's bright out there. Very nice, very pleasant. So yeah, I'll come down here to introduce you into a video of what I was doing, trying to show you guys what I get up to in Torridon Road when I come down to plane trains. And you know, if I haven't got a project to do, what I finally get round to doing is, as I say in the film, I haven't got room for all the locos that I've got that I run on Torridon Road once in a while. Okay, so some are stored in boxes, some are up on the shelf, and in the oncoming film, it's a problem that I encounter whilst testing the models going around, because you know, you want to make sure that they're still oiled okay, and that the grease hasn't gone horrible on them and things like that, which, to be honest, they're not old enough to get to that stage yet, although you do hear some horror stories that even straight from the factory, the grease turns out not to be the best. But I've been lucky that up to now, in the past, when I've been checking things, it's always been all right, and I'll keep on top of it and keep it greased or oiled, whatever it needs. But it's like going through all the models I've got, that I came across a problem, and that's what the oncoming film is about, showing you that I was quite shocked. I'd earmarked 3 particular locos out of all the locos that I've got. I mean, as you know, I've got a shelf up here. Up there, there's a shelf absolutely full of locomotives, mostly 66s and things. I've got boxes put away with locos in there. So yeah, while it's quiet, I'll get them out to run them, to make sure they're running, and that's what the oncoming film is all about. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to put running clips on behind, because otherwise it'll really make the film long. And yeah, and in the film I'm sort of showing you, I think I'm going through my how I run my models on Torridon Road, with my close couplings and things like that, because as you know, I'm obsessed. I like to get everything running as close as it possibly can, and yet still get round the curves, and that's what I show you in the film. But then also the problem that I encountered and how I solved it. Okay, so when you've seen the film, I'll get back to you to say goodbye then after that, all right? But until then, I'll get back to you. Right, so in this little bit, guys, I just want to show you 3 locomotives that I keep, well, you probably haven't seen going around Torridon Road for a while, and this is what I have to do. I mean, like most people, I've probably got, I've got more locos than I've got room for on the layout, so a lot of them are stored. And some of the liveries are getting a bit old in the tooth now, so I don't use them so much. But nevertheless, they're perfectly good locos, and they've been put in storage, or they've been put on the shelf. And basically, just to make sure everything's okay, I'll have to get them down and run them around. And this is an ideal time when I've got no projects on the go or things like that, and I can just come down here and play trains. That I do remember to sort of like, oh yeah, let's go through the rolling stock and make sure that everything's running, just to make sure that the oil is still running, the grease is still free, it's not clogged up or anything. So I'll show you the 3 more locos that I've got that I'm testing. 2 of which are in the Escal liveries that Accurascal released, the Evening Star. And then they've just announced one in the Maritime livery, the blue, although it's not exactly the same Maritime livery that the Rails of Sheffield came out with, because that's Maritime 1. But anyway, so I'll show you those, and I'm just going to put them on the track and run them, so I don't have to go and clean anything, because the last time they went round Torridon Road, I used that product called Inox MX3. That gets onto the wheel set, that always coats and protects the wheels, and there never gets any crud on the wheels afterwards, so I don't clean loco wheels. It might get, when it goes on the track for the first time in a long while, might be a little bit of a stutter as the pickups on the back, on the wheel backs, start having to work again, and just the actual action of rubbing the wheel backs will clean that up, no problem. So sometimes when it goes on, it never it never doesn't work. It might just have a little hiccup and then goes round a lap and then it's happy as anything. So yeah, but at least that way I know that the gears and motor's working fine. So these are I wanted to just show you these three. All right, so let's do that. Okay, so we're going to kick off with this one first, 66727 Maritime 1. So this was a Rails of Sheffield commission from Bachmann to do it in this livery, and it's very smart livery it is too. So yeah, very fine. It's been detailed at one end, as you'll see, and also it's had its lights fixed as well, as you see, and of course I've put a modified driver in there as well, so it's a bit better. But I've just run this one, guys, and there is a problem. So she's pulling a rake of wagons, cut down wagons, but you'll hear as I pull away that there is a problem with this one. So let's go. I'll turn the lights on, and there you can see that I've modified the lights so that she has got, although she's a large, I think they call it bubble-eyed version of the 66, all the lights are correct because she's got her marker lights on as well as the main high beams, and that was a modification with the use of new PCB board behind the lights. I've only done it at one end, so the other end still displays red lights if you want, but if it changes direction it'll only have the two working lights. But that didn't bother me because it only runs in the one direction most of the time. So, but listen to this when it sets off. Can you hear how very noisy it is? So it's working, and the amp meter's not going mad, but there is a problem with the motor. Sounds like, and believe me, I've taken the motor out. I've already stripped this one down, discovered that the motor is making this horrible noise. There's nothing I can do will fix it. You can hear it coming, and yet it's running, you know, it runs okay, but it's not okay. The motor's bad. So I've got new motors on its way from Bachmann. I've ordered new motors and I will replace the motor. It's an easy enough job to do, but what I think's happened is there's been, you know, maybe some corrosion on the shaft of the motor where it goes through the bearings, and no amount of oil is fixing it. It was worse when I first got it, believe it or not, and yet, you know, it runs fine. There she comes. I'll just run it up slowly, but you can hear it's all making it, you know, and it is the motor because I've had the motor out running just by itself and it's horrible. But everything works on this thing though. Our cab lights, you can see the driver. I don't know if you can see the driver, it's a different driver. So that's a shame. So there you are. This has been up on the shelf. You don't see it used often. But and now Curascal have come out with this livery. Okay, different number and all the rest of it, and the different lights. This one, as I say, is a large headlamp job. I think, as I said, I think they call them bug eyes. Whereas the newer Curascal model is hasn't, you know, it's got these smaller sets of modern lights. So it's also a different number, and it's also a DB Schenker version, whereas this is GB Rail Freight version because it's Maritime 1. And so therefore, no, I didn't want to go and, you know, put an order in for the Curascal one in this livery because I've got this one. And yes, it's a Bachmann, but you know, it's had its modifications. It, you know, from when I'm playing trains, it doesn't, you know, of course the Curascal and what was the Hattons is the best detailed class 66s out there. But this is looking, you know, so good, so I'm not going to get rid of it. And it's got sound. The normal, this is the normal Bachmann, you know, class 66 sound. I think can't remember, it is a Southwest Digital, isn't it, or something? So it's your archetypical 66 sound. And with the sound running, and I'll set her off once she starts, you don't actually hear the, you know, it just, that noise from the motor just blends in with the noise of the sound. So see, it runs absolutely perfectly, and you can't hear that noise now of the motor, only when the sound's not working. And the amp meter is fine. Now at maybe a higher speed, there could be, you know, you can hear the sort of like raspiness in the background of the motor. But for the moment, until I get the new motor, this is what I've got. But there you are. If I hadn't taken it off the shelf, who knows what would have happened. So yes, it's been stored on the shelf. Get it down from the shelf and find there is a problem. But otherwise, yeah, lovely. So we'll be doing that. So anyway, so we know there's a problem with that one. And let's get on with the next one. Okay, so the next one we have is, of course, Evening Star. And again, a Curascal, not that I don't think, unless you pay silly money on from Fleabay, you can't get hold of it now. They all sold out. But this was the reason why I wasn't really interested in the Curascal one, because, you know, again, although it's the Bachmann 66, there's nothing wrong with it, runs well, and, you know, I didn't want to double up on the livery. There is only one Evening Star. This one, though, was not the one that he just bought from Bachmann, although it is a Bachmann model. This was bought from the company Locomotion, which is part of the National Railway Museum. It's a shop that's based at the Shildon Museum, part of the York Museum network and everything, the National Railway Museum. So yeah, this came from Locomotion, and what it's done is it's got a finish of gloss. It's got a gloss finished livery. Also, although I think it did come, sorry, unlike the Bachmann model, it did come with the bell, the Evening Star bell, which I know a Curascal's done, but the Bachmann, the standard Bachmann Evening Star didn't come with a bell, I believe, whereas the Locomotion produced a bell, but however, I've replaced the bell with a better 3D printed one. So that's it was more because the Bachmann one wasn't actually very good. It wasn't in the right format. The other thing, while I've zoomed in, it comes full of etched nameplates. You got the one that's each end there. I've had to stick on. Is that the manufacturer's plate there? Yeah. So that's the little, and of course there's the Evening Star on the side there as well. You know. So sorry, zooming in. Can't zoom in on it. Hold on, let's try again. Yeah. So Evening Star, and again with the second one underneath, which has got some information on it, which I can't even read. But there you are. So, but it's just a super gloss finish, which looks absolutely fantastic, and it makes me ask the question: why don't we produce the Locos in in a gloss finish? Why has it always got to be this matte or this silk finish that we produce the Locos in? When in real life, I mean, my Flying Scotsman's in a matte finish, and yet in the real life it's a gloss finish. So I don't understand why we don't produce, our models with a gloss coating on them. I think I did hear once saying, someone sort of said, oh, it doesn't look very good in when it gets scaled down to 00 standard, but I don't know. Anyway, this one has had the modified lights, so when I put them on, it's got all the correct lights on again. As you can see, it's got different light clusters to the last one, but it's still got its marker lights and the main headlight above and the main beam on the left side there. So this one again. Now, the other thing about this one is that I've detailed up both ends, so there is no coupling on the end. Both ends have got an air dam. One of my pet hates is when I see a Bachmann 66 at exhibitions, and because they've got the tension lock coupling installed, there's no air dams, and the Bachmann 66 looks absolutely horrendous without the air dam. But anyway, it's got sound, and yes, as I said, it's got no coupling, but you know, because I've made my own little couplings, that doesn't matter now, and I'll just demonstrate it in a second. I'll just move this one forward, so you see that the other end. I think it's got lights, yeah, it's got a cab light, yeah, not very good. Nice driver's been fitted into this one though. So Southwest Digital sound again, standard Bachmann 66 sound. Put it away. So this has been on the shelf a little while, but no problems whatsoever. Not cleaned the wheels, not done anything like that. So there's that little etch plate there on the cab door, and then obviously the main plates, and then when she comes by you can see this gloss finish, super gloss finish that Locomotion had done, and at that end, as you can see, all detailed. Now taking it too far forward, I've got to bring it back. And when I bring it back, I don't think I've done the lights this end. Oh, I did. See, so I've modified both ends. I forgot that I'd done that. So this one, you know, because of its detail and everything, I thought, oh, I'll run it as a light loco. But of course I don't have to now, because it's got its hook coupling. And now if I just leave that there for a second and reach over for one of my couplings, let's have a look. I think that one will do. Right, I'll run that down to its waiting wagons. So the air dam's on this end as well, obviously, because it's all, you know, detailed up with all the air vac pipes and everything. So yeah, this one's not been off the shelf for a good few months. Certainly during the winter it's been up on the shelf. And then now there's no lights at the back here because I've turned the lights off on the Bachmann, you know, underneath on the fuel tank. There's a switch to turn the rear lights off, which is what I've done. But hopefully, let's have a look now. She should pull now. Yeah, we're going. That's it. Yeah, that's going to be fine. That's going to pull this rake around, no worries. Speed her up a bit. And wait for her to come back round again. I just raised the camera a bit because the camera's dropping down for some reason or other. There we are. That's better. Sorry about that. So there we are, nothing, you know, running perfectly in an unusual scheme with an unusual finish. So it wasn't, and as you can see, I can use it to its normally, you know, couple that up to anything I want to, even though she's detailed at both ends. As you know, it's one of the things I like to do. And bring around. So I say with that, you know, unlike other Bachmanns, because of the light units being fixed, there you go. So Evening Star. So yeah, I didn't go out and buy the Acura scale one, okay, because that's a lovely looking loco as it is, even though it's a Bachmann 66. Right, that's that. Right, let's have a look at this one. So this one hasn't been seen on Torridon Road in I don't know how long. It's certainly been a year since I've last tried it out to make sure it runs. You guys haven't seen this model not for a long while. You'd have to go back to the early days of Torridon Road to find that this was one of the very first locos I got running around. And I guess now it's been consigned to a box because of the livery, because this being the old DRS liveried 66, you know, it's been surpassed by the, you know, more updated schemes. So this one doesn't get on the tracks very much. So this is the first time this is going to be running in I don't know how long. But before she got put away, she got all the modifications. She got the lights done. So there you are. So again, this is a large headlight version, but now it's got, you know, whereas Bachmann don't provide the working marker lights, this is fitted with the working marker lights. So that's the correct lighting functions. And I think, has it got a cab light as well? Yeah, just about come on. There is a nicely painted driver in there, although there's not much else cab features on the Bachmann, but never mind. Turn the cab light off. This is fitted with a TTS decoder, so the driving is not as good as the last couple we just seen, but still we'll start it up. And what I've done, so it's been detailed up this end. The other end has got the air dam, the Bachmann air dam, but I've modified it to allow for the coupling to come through the air dam. So just like what the new manufacturers do, Curascal, Cavalex, and even the Hornbys, you know, if they're fitted with dams or snow plows or whatever, they've been modified, haven't they, to allow you for a coupling to go through. But this one, I modified it myself. It is the same air dam that you get that I've been fitted to the front, but I've had to cut a big slot in it to allow for the coupling to swing either side and not get jammed as it goes round the curves, because unlike the other manufacturers I mentioned, these couplings fit straight to the bogie, which is fantastic for when it comes to pulling trains, because you don't get any foul up with the what's it called, the kinematic couplings that the other ones use. So they may pull okay, but they don't push very well. Whereas the Bachmanns, I've never had any trouble with the Bachmann loco because they use a different system. But as you'll see in a second, it did mean that you've got to cut quite a large aperture into the snowplow, which means you've cut away the fixings that it uses. So I've had to actually super glue it at the ends of the snowplow in order to get the effect I want. But I'll show you that. Let's have a look. So let's start her up. So yes, this is the TTS decoder. And the original one, alright, so this is not the new decoder, this is the old 8-pin, so this must have been an 8-pin, unless I've got an adapter in there. I really can't remember what I've done with this. Yeah. Right, let's see. So I'm going to put it forward so you can see the back side of it, and then we'll run it round. But this hasn't been used in, must have been the last time I used it was a year ago. I've just put it on the track. I haven't cleaned the wheels, you know, it's been the way it was when I last used it, put it away. That Inox MX3 product gets onto the wheels, and it stays there and protects the wheels and keeps it running smoothly. I don't get no carbon build up on the wheel set, so I don't clean my loco wheels. You might get the odd little stutter from the pickups and the wiper blades on the back of the, you know, wheels, but not from the track itself. And then if it is the pickups, then they soon wipe themselves clean anyway. Let's have a look, see if this stutters or not. Bit quick, this one. Yeah, it's not following the, you know, the doesn't run as well as. Right, I stopped it there. Yeah, it doesn't run as well because it is a TTS decoder. Not as good. Now you still see that it has the red marker lights working at the back. I haven't turned the thing off, but if I change direction... Oh no, I did it off. It's another one that I've done it all, both ends. Never mind. Oh well, I didn't realise I did that. So yeah, both ends have been fixed. And I haven't turned the switch off under the fuel tank to turn off the marker lights, which... because it can couple up to the wagons in a minute, I should be able to turn them off. But what I want to show you there is, it says hitting the camera. Just go down to the buffer beam and you can see cut away the pipes, but can you see the air down there? It's been cut away, but it's attached to each side, so it allows for that coupling to come through. But you can see the swing on the coupling, it goes literally from one side to the other, so you really do have to make sure that you've left enough room. But it still looks better than if it had no air dam on it whatsoever. I really hate the look of the Bachmann 66 with no air dam whatsoever on it. It's horrible, which of course you see quite a lot at exhibitions, because whereas they like to detail the actual layout, they don't do the same too much with the rolling stock. Never mind, let's bring that back. So, and this as I say, this runs a little bit smartish for a, maybe if I change the speed step, hold on, right, 128, okay, so we'll do it that, let's see what happens there. Yeah, see, it's moving, but it's not really relating to the engine note, is it? Only now. Let's run it up to the. Let's run it up to the wagons. But it's running as smooth as silk. There's no flickering of the lights, because it's all, even though it's not been cleaned. Change direction, and let's have her pulling them away. So she's now attached to the rake of wagons. Let's have a look. Trying to be a bit more controlled. So this is running on 128 speed steps in order to get a bit more, realistic control over it, because it was a bit quick, isn't it? But this is a TTS decoder, so no buffer locking, because that coupling works a treat. I'll show you next time when it comes round. And these cut down wagons, by the way, the buffers do, I've got the coupling so tight that the buffers do actually kiss when it goes round a bend, even on the third radius. But it doesn't matter, because they're sprung, because these are Accurascale wagons. So let's have a look at that when it comes round, he says. So, but there's no flickering lights. The pickup current is absolutely perfect, even though I haven't cleaned anything. There's the coupling there. Fine. Look at the couplings on the cut down wagons. Can you see that they're kissing as they're about to go round the third radius? But it doesn't affect the running, because whereas these are kissing, if it went on a third radius, if it went round a second radius curve, it doesn't matter, because they're sprung buffers, and so there's a little bit of give. So as you'll see when it comes round, these wagons are coupled as close as they can possibly be, and yet they still run round the third and second radius curves. But absolutely no problem at all with that. There's the gaps. You see how close they are? But look, when it goes round the corner, it kisses. But you can't have the gaps any lower, any smaller than that. And that means that it goes across the points and everything else. And of course this one was the battery fitted and the train lamp, which I converted, so it's now got the nice double flash. Excellent. Well, there you go. So the next little thing I do, as you know, is I detail up at both ends of the loco, and then with my little custom made magnetic coupler I can then attach the wagon to the back end of the loco, even though she's fitted with a snow plough which is attached to the buffer beam, not to the bogie, so it doesn't move, and it's got its pipe works and everything. So there's no tension lock there at all. So I will have to put on my little coupling, which is that. Okay, and then now that will then attach quite firmly to the wagon, and in this case it would even push, because as you can see I'm pushing against it, and the coupling, because it's a magnet, is staying put, so it would actually push. But how is the loco attached to the loco, because they've both been detailed up at both ends? Well, I've got my own custom chain link coupling in there. Okay, that's as close as it gets, bearing in mind this is going to go around a second radius curve, but that's the gap that you got between the buffers, and it will work. So what I'll do is I'll set it running, and I'm doing all this whilst filming, so you will see it, and I will follow it round. So give it 10. So she's pulling, and the curve she's going onto is a second radius. So now I'm going to follow her as she comes round, and you'll see what happens to the two locos when it comes onto a second radius curve. With my own little custom chain link coupling, you'll see there you go. But obviously that one, because it is literally hooked onto the locomotive's hooks, it cannot push because it will uncouple itself, obviously. I mean, come on, can't have everything. The wagon's fine, but the loco to loco, because I've got this particular custom coupling on it, no, it wouldn't work. But because the loco is a freewheeling loco, so just treat it as if it's a bit of a rolling stock, as it were, she has got no problems being pulled. But you can see the buffers are kissing. There we are. Alright, so another little secret revealed from Torridon Road. I do have some locos that are in a proper consist. My class 20s run perfectly together, as do Dapol's class 68s, so they can run both locos being powered and running perfectly in a consist. But these two motors, being different manufacturers, when you put the sound files on, they would not run together, and I wasn't prepared to start messing around with CVs. There you go. Things I get up to in the old man shed. I love it. And of course at the end, flashing away lovely. Nice little end of train lamp. Okay, well here we are guys. So I've replaced the motor, and here she comes now with no sound on, but listen. That's a bit better. And I'll get the old motor on my test board, and I'll spin it around so you can hear how bad the motor is. There we go. Right, okay, so I've got the motor hooked up to my little homemade test device. So there she is there. Dialed in the number. I'll just change the camera so you can see the amp meter there as well, the alpha meter, and I'm going to give full power. So this is the motor, yeah? Yeah, all right. So, and that, if that's, you know, just running free, it was amplified in the loco with the shield and everything on. But the alpha meter is constant. It's all right. It's not spiking. It's literally something wrong with the bearing. And I've never been able to take one of these Bachmann motors apart. You know, I cannot remove the weight for the love nor money of me. I've bought all the tools that you can get on the web, you know, for worm gear pulling and things like that. I cannot get these weights off, and especially the fact that you've got to leave the plastic, or I can't even remove the plastic device, you know, for the drive shaft that you got actually pressed into the weights at the ends. You mustn't damage those either, otherwise, you know, you won't get good drive. Your drive shaft will get all mangled up in it. So yeah, so that's it. So that's why a new motor came, and I've put that in. This is the one that came out of it, and yeah, so there you go. But yeah, tried oiling where the bearings are, so I know the oil's got on there. Let's have it spin again, because you can actually see the brushes on this one, because as you know, they're in there behind a spring each side, and there's no arcing going on. There it is. That you can see there, the silver bits, that is the brush holders, but there's no arcing at all, hence the alpha meter's not spiking or doing anything. So it's literally the bearing. There you go. Alright, so but the thing is, the model itself now is 100% now with a new motor, but that was left on the shelf, and yeah, maybe it was making a little bit of a noise when I first put it away, but certainly a year up on the shelf is cause for some sort of degradation in where the bearings are, be it corrosion or something or other. Right, okay. So here we are then, people. So I hope that was alright, and you stuck with it, and you could see what, you know, it's all tickety boo now, it's all done. So just goes to show, you know, problems can arise just at any time. So, but you know, able to solve it, so that's good. So everything's sweet now. So there we are. So I'll love and leave you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And hello to new subscribers to this old man's channel. But yeah, there we go. So everybody take care. Until the next time, I'll see you then. All right, bye for now, guys. Bye bye.